Once upon a time, in a kingdom far, far away, there was a beautiful and lovely girl whose name was Cinderella. Her stepmother, as well as her stepsisters, were always treating Cinderella badly because they were jealous of her. And on the day of the big ball in the kingdom, her stepmother and stepsisters came up with a plan to prevent Cinderella from going to the ball. "Cinderella, go and pick flowers in the forest to decorate my hair with. I have to be beautiful."
"I also want the purple hyacinths at the end of the forest road. Come on!"
Cinderella said to them, but it isn't that long until the ball. Sadly,
"Oh, don't worry. We would never ever leave before you come back."
Cinderella left the house with tears in her eyes. After a long journey, she finally reached the purple hyacinths. But as soon as she tried to reach for the flowers, her fingers started getting pricked by thorns. Cinderella started crying because of the pain, and because she realized that because of this, she wouldn't make it to the ball. Suddenly, a fairy appeared in front of her. The fairy asked Cinderella what was making her so sad. "My sisters asked me to come to the forest to go and pick flowers, even though they knew I wouldn't be able to make it to the ball." The fairy snapped her fingers, and suddenly, a pair of sparkling red shoes appeared in front of her hand from out of nowhere. "You just need to put these magic shoes on and you'll be ready for the ball in no time. But remember this, the effect of the magic will wear off during the full moon, so you have to make sure you're home before it appears." And then she suddenly disappeared. Cinderella looked around in a state of surprise and tried the shoes on. The moment she put them on, she found herself in front of the ballroom, transformed into a beautiful princess with her hair, as well as her dress, looking absolutely perfect. "Oh, where am I? Look at this dress! Is what I'm seeing really real?" She entered the ballroom, and people looked at her in admiration. Her jealous stepsisters and her stepmother were taken aback when they saw her.
"No way!
It was impossible for her to make it to the ball.
And where did she get those clothes from? They're so ugly."
All through the room, people were paying attention to Cinderella.
"May I have this dance, my princess?"
Cinderella and the prince spent hours dancing with each other. However, in the middle of the dance, a dove came in through the window and perched on Cinderella's shoulder and whispered,
"The full moon's about to come out, so you need to go home."
Cinderella left the prince and ran out of the door, leaving the prince in a daze. She couldn't see what was in front of her and stepped into a puddle, and one of her magic shoes was swept away by the stream of water.
"I have to hurry, or else everything will go back to the way it was before."
Finally, she managed to get back home before the full moon appeared. She changed out of her dress and hid the shoe that she had left under her pillow. The following morning, the prince was walking around sadly when he stumbled upon one of the red shoes. "This is one of the shoes the princess was wearing," he thought to himself. The prince traveled all over the kingdom to find the foot that the shoe belonged to. And one day, he came to the house where Cinderella was living. The cruel stepsisters immediately lined up. Cinderella was watching what was happening from afar. The first one to try the shoe on was the oldest stepsister, but as soon as she put it on, her hair suddenly fluffed up. It looked like she had a massive bush on her head.
"Oh, no way! Look at my hair! No, no, no!"
The other stepsister also jumped in to try it on, but the moment she put her foot in, her clothes started transforming and became shabby and dirty.
"What happened to my clothes? Oh! I've turned into a pile of garbage!"
At that moment, Cinderella came downstairs with a red shoe in her hand. The moment she put both of the shoes on, she transformed back into her beautiful self, just like at the ball.
"I found you, dear Cinderella. Now you're going to be my princess forever."
The prince and Cinderella gave each other a hug and were filled to the brim with happiness. And thus, the stepsisters realized that jealousy never helps anybody. But love and kindness always has the power to open every door.
Cinderella, the Magic Slippers. Once upon a time, in a land far away, there was a beautiful girl named Cinderella. The kind-hearted Princess Cinderella lived together with Prince Leo in a wonderful castle. There was an old lady living in their country who had been working in a bakery for a long time. She baked the most delicious breads. But hardly anyone knew that this old lady, Xenia, was indeed a dangerous magician. Xenia would always go into her magic room in the basement, hidden from everyone else, to prepare different potions for those who ask for her magic. As the days passed, Lady Puffy and her daughters, Cassandra and Jezebel, were still pursuing treacherous plans to take over the magnificent palace. I'm sure there was some magic involved. Cassandra mentioned the magician named Xenia, who was secretly preparing potions in her small basement room. On the same day, Cinderella and Prince Leo were planning to organize a ball at the castle. I'm going to wear my glass slippers to the ball. While the preparations for the ball were taking place, Lady Puffy and her daughters were already on their way to the evil magician. They walked along a forest road until they finally saw a sign with some strange letters written on it. As they moved towards the sign, they noticed a tunnel entrance and entered in. In this mysterious tunnel, which was very dark, candles lit up magically as they were passing by. And a little further down the path, an owl appeared in front of them.
What is that?
Sweet rodents, who are you? What are you doing on this road? Don't you know the password?
Xenia, Xenia, 1, 2, 3. Pour the potion quickly.
This is ridiculous. That's right. Follow me. I will lead you there. Flapping and flapping. Somebody turn on the owl door for me, thank you. Clockwise. Very good, ladies. Xenia, someone here to see you.
There were a lot of potion bottles around. Boilers, ladles, clamps, different herbs, plants, and tiny bats flying around in the air.
Mommy! This place is so scary. Ah!
In the colorful smoke, Lady Puffy and her daughters waited eagerly for the magician. Finally, Xenia appeared wearing a black hat and raised her hat to show them her face.
Tell me, what spell do you want from me?
Lady Puffy realized that Xenia was actually her sister, who she hadn't seen in years. But you are my sister. I can't believe my eyes.
Puffy, it's you.
We thought you were lost. You are a magician now?
Yes, now I can have it all. Tell me, why do you need a spell?
The girls told Aunt Xenia that they wanted to take over Cinderella's life. Xenia decided to use a very powerful spell because her sister and her nieces were involved. At first, she asked for a hair of each girl and put it in a yellow bowl filled with some magical water. Then she took the footsteps of Cassandra and Jezebel with the help of a basin filled with mud. She took the water, poured it into the footprints, and at that moment, Cinderella's slippers appeared on the wall directly in front of the girls.
Hiccups of horses and the speed of a cat, Cinderella's slippers will cause her to fall flat. At the sound of Puffy's voice, the glass slippers will go, only where she commands them to step to and fro.
My dear, I'll give me a ball and watch how Cinderella will fall. Can play with her like a doll and watch how the magic will flow. Magic is my everything. I can rule the world with it. Magic is my everything. I can capture all that I need. Magic is my everything. I can rule the world with it. Magic is my everything. Magic is my everything.
Finally, it was the night of the ball. Cinderella put on her favorite dress with her precious glass slippers and went to the ballroom. Lady Puffy and her daughters watched Cinderella secretly from a corner of the ball. All right, magic slippers, let Cinderella stumble. When Cinderella suddenly fell to the ground. Of course, she couldn't understand what was going on. She stood up quickly, but her feet would not stop moving, and she kicked the ball guests as they ran around the hall.
No! What is happening to me?
Cinderella ran back and forth, to the right and to the left. Neither the prince nor the ball guests could stop her. Finally, she came out of the ballroom and ran down the castle stairs, but still couldn't control her feet. In the meantime, Lady Puffy and her daughters watched Cinderella and giggled.
Princess Cinderella is leaving the castle.
Whoa, look at her go. Hey, wonder where she's going.
Oh, the princess is leaving.
What happened to Princess Cinderella? Those shoes.
Cinderella quickly ran away from the castle. Get lost in distant lands, Cinderella. When all this happened, Cinderella's little friends, Mozzarella and Cheddar, asked Fairy Leabelle for help under a hazelnut tree.
Leabelle, come here, wherever you are. We need your help.
Leabelle suddenly appeared in front of Mozzarella and Cheddar and flew straight to where Cinderella was. The magic glass slippers changed their color and turned red. Leabelle waved her magic wand to Cinderella's shoes, but it did not help.
Slippers of speed, not meant to be comfy. Stop when your path gets muddy and bumpy.
The fairy's magic phrases created a swamp on the road. The glass shoes got stuck in the magic swamp, and they stopped. But unfortunately, Cinderella began to sink into the swamp too.
Help! Leabelle, I'm sinking!
Leabelle waved her wand 3 times, and wings grew out of Cinderella's shoulders. Cinderella used the new wings to escape the swamp.
Thank you, Leabelle. You saved my life, but I will never be able to see my glass slippers again. The glass slippers were bewitched, Cinderella. Hurry, let's go back to the castle.
Fairy Leabelle gave Cinderella new shoes, and they went back to the castle together. Cinderella was very happy to meet Prince Leo and her little friends again. When Lady Puffy and her daughters realized that their evil plan had failed, they left the ball immediately.
Ah! The good ones always win. I hate it.
Cinderella and her loved ones always stay happy. The owl watched everything and told the magician Xenia,
Lady Xenia, listen. The Sue thing did not work.
No! This can't be happening. How can they defeat a magician like me? Nobody can do that.
Whoa, calm down, woman.
In a kingdom far, far away, there were 3 beautiful sisters. Their father, who was the king, often held balls because his daughters loved to dance. But while each of the princesses danced very well, the youngest one could not dance as well as her older sisters.
You could be a little bit more graceful when you dance, Mia.
The little princess couldn't dance gracefully, even though she really wanted to. Even the guests around were looking at her strange dance and making fun of her among themselves.
What kind of dance is this?
Why is she moving like that?
I will never dance again.
Mia was so upset that she immediately left the ballroom and locked herself in a cabin deep in the forest. Looking at the stars in the sky, thinking how to dance well, she noticed a young man passing by the house. The man was dancing so gracefully and beautifully under the moonlight that Mia admired him and went outside. At that moment, when Mia suddenly screamed because of a squirrel that was rushing between her feet,
Ah! What was that?
the man stopped dancing, and their eyes met.
Are you okay, ma'am?
Well, I'm fine. I think I was afraid of a squirrel.
This is their nature, ma'am. Please don't be scared.
Mia couldn't resist and asked the man how he danced so well. The man showed the shoes he was wearing.
I'm a shoemaker. I use precious materials and make magic dance shoes. That way, I can dance freely in the woods every night.
Oh, I can't believe it. I need a shoemaker just like you.
The shoemaker took out 3 pairs of magic shoes from his bag and placed them in front of Mia.
Close your eyes, make a wish, and choose one of these 3 magical shoes for your luck. But remember, every shoe has one big rule. If you don't follow that rule, the shoes can do whatever magic they want on you.
Mia immediately closed her eyes tightly. The shoemaker, on the other hand, swapped the shoes to leave it to chance which magic shoes Mia would pick.
Now you can choose a pair of shoes.
Oh, please let me be the most graceful dancing girl at the ball.
Mia selected the bright red shoes with her finger and opened her eyes.
Take them. These are yours now. But don't forget, you should wear the shoes only when you see the full moon. If you do otherwise, you cannot take off these magic shoes anymore. That's the rule.
Mia enthusiastically took the magic shoes and went to the palace. The princesses were very surprised to see their sister Mia so excited and happy.
Mia, where are you going that fast?
What is that in your hands?
Huh? What? Nothing.
Everyone gathered in the hall of the palace for another dance ball evening. Mia's princess sisters started to dance gracefully as usual in their most beautiful outfits. Little Princess Mia put on the magic shoes she got from the shoemaker and danced in the palace hall. She danced so beautifully, she kept up with the rhythm of the song so gently that the princess sisters and guests marveled at Mia.
Wow, magnificent, so gracefully.
Wow, she is dancing so beautifully. Mia was dancing gracefully, but the shoemaker's rules slipped from her mind. Because there was no full moon in the sky that night, while Mia was dancing, she slowly started disappearing. Only her dancing magic shoes remained. At that moment, everyone in the hall started screaming in fear and running away.
Did you see that? Oh my gosh!
Mia! No! Oh, Mia disappeared!
Oh my!
Mia opened her eyes when everyone was screaming, but she couldn't understand what was going on. Standing in front of the largest mirror in the living room, she saw only the magic shoes she was wearing, not herself.
Whoa! I've become invisible! I did not follow the rule of the shoes! They stuck to my feet! Oh! I have to find that shoemaker!
No one could hear Mia's voice. In fact, everyone was leaving the palace in panic because of the red shoes running left and right in the hall. Mia immediately ran out of the hall. Princess sisters followed her. 3 princess sisters were walking through the forest in the dark of night. When they arrived near the cabin, they saw that young shoemaker. This man! How well he is dancing! His shoes are just like Mia's. Plus, his bag is full of shoes. Mia's sisters asked the shoemaker for help. However, when the shoemaker said that she had to wait until the next full moon for the spell to break, Mia got very upset and started tapping her feet non-stop.
There is one more solution. But if we do that, your shoes will lose their magic and become just ordinary shoes. If you agree, hit your feet together 3 times.
Mia thought it was better to give up the shoes than to be invisible. And she hit her feet together 3 times. The shoemaker in the front, Mia in the back, they went to the bottom of the well a little further away. The shoemaker jumped to the bottom of the well. Seeing this, the princess sisters were very surprised. After a while, the shoemaker came out of the well with a full bucket in his hand.
I will sprinkle this full moon dust at your feet and break the spell.
The spell was indeed broken when the shoemaker sprinkled the full moon dust on the magic shoes, and Mia reappeared. Her sisters immediately hugged her. Mia, you don't need spell or magic to dance gracefully. Because everyone should dance the way they're happy.
Yes, you're right! Thank you, shoemaker! Thank you so much!
From that day on, little Princess Mia danced in her own way as she always wanted to.
Red shoes. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there was a very cute girl named Karen. She lived in a tiny house with her mother and was a very happy girl. She would ask her mother about everything she was curious about.
Mom, what are these tiny lights in the sky?
They are stars, Karen. Everyone who lives on Earth eventually turns into a star and shines in the sky forever. Karen only had one toy, one dress, and a pair of wooden slippers she wore on the street. The wooden slippers her mother made for her were not very comfortable, but they were the only ones she had. One day, Karen's mother got very sick. So Karen went to town to buy medicine for her mother, and along the way, she found a pair of red shoes in a box on the roadside. The shoes shone so beautifully that Karen couldn't help but bring them home with her.
Look, Mommy, I found these by the roadside. Aren't they beautiful? Just right for me.
These may belong to someone else, Karen. You should immediately take them back.
But if they had an owner, she wouldn't have left them there with the box.
Maybe the owner dropped it accidentally.
Then they shouldn't have dropped it. I found them. They belong to me now. They're mine.
Baby, listen to me carefully. I may not be able to buy you new shoes right now, but I don't want you to wear someone else's shoes just because of that. Please, don't be stubborn. Promise you won't wear these red shoes. Karen sadly promised her mother not to wear red shoes and hid them under her bed. Months passed by until one day Karen came home and couldn't find her mother in the house. She looked all over until she realized that her mother had become a bright star. The next day, on her way to her mother's funeral, Karen put on those red shoes. Those who came to the funeral couldn't take their eyes off Karen's shoes.
How dare she wear red shoes? So disrespectful.
But Karen did not care because she loved her shoes. A good-hearted old woman passed by the cemetery. This old woman learned that this little girl was now an orphan and wanted to adopt her.
Come with me, pretty girl. I will do my best to make you successful and beautiful when you grow up.
So Karen went to live with the old woman for many years.
Karen, you've been wearing these shoes since your mother's funeral. You need to take them off now. They're so dirty. No, I love my red shoes. Oh, Karen, don't be so stubborn. Come on, change your shoes. I'll buy better shoes, I promise.
Karen did not want to offend the old woman who had been so kind to adopt her. So she finally took off her red shoes and threw them away. Days passed until one day, Karen was playing in her new room with her new clothes and toys, and the old woman brought her a new pair of shoes. But Karen didn't like these shoes at all.
But these are blue. Very ugly. I don't like them at all.
So for years to come, Karen missed her red shoes a lot. She grew into a beautiful young lady, but her stubborn attitude never changed. Even when the old lady brought her gifts.
I don't want to wear this thing, but I knit this for you.
I'll never eat this food.
Make me French fries. At least take a little bite, darling.
The old woman was very upset when Karen got up from the table without having a meal. She made French fries for her and took them to her room. At that time, Karen was taking off her blue shoes.
Look, see? All my things are so small now. I've grown up. Well, come on then. Let's buy you new clothes and shoes.
Then the old woman and Karen went to the store.
Oh, look, just like my favorite red shoes. I must have them. Let's get these. Karen, you don't need fancy red shoes. You need shoes that you can wear respectfully. Like, if we need to go to a funeral. I can only buy you one pair of shoes. Let's buy those black ones and go home. I am very tired.
I don't care. If you don't buy both shoes, I'll walk barefoot everywhere from now on.
Little girl,
I wish you weren't so stubborn. The old woman bought the black shoes for Karen and spent the last of her money to appease her with the red sparkly shoes, too. They had to walk home on foot. The old woman's feet hurt a lot along the way, and she could not keep up with the spoiled Karen. And Karen didn't care. She walked on home with her new red shoes. One day, the old woman told Karen that they needed to attend a funeral in town.
Karen, be sure to put on your black shoes. Otherwise, it will be disrespectful at the funeral.
Karen looked at the black shoes in her room, and then at the bright red ones. She chose to put on the red shoes. When they left the house, she covered them up with her skirt, so the old woman would not see the shoes. However, at the funeral, everyone saw Karen's shoes, shining brightly under her skirt. They spoke amongst themselves about Karen's red shoes at the funeral, and about how disrespectful the shoes were. When what was said came to the old woman's ear, she got very angry.
You didn't listen to what I told you, and you put on the red shoes again. You're so stubborn, Karen. Show some respect.
A handsome young lord passing by at that time was struck by Karen's beauty. He came to her and went down on his knees and gave her compliments.
How beautiful you are, and so delicate in these beautiful shoes.
My lord, you make me blush.
You must be a very good dancer. I invite you to the dance night in the palace tonight. Please come.
With the happiness of the Lord's offer, Karen started dancing with joy. But after a while, Karen couldn't stop dancing. Why can't I stop my feet? What is happening? Oh! Karen started walking away from the old lady and the Lord while she was dancing.
Karen, come back.
Even though the Lord chased Karen for a while, he lost her. Karen's red shoes turned out to be more stubborn than Karen. They took her until top of the mountain and made her dance day and night for 3 days. Karen's feet hurt so much that she screamed at every step. Even though they got into the mud and prickly needles stuck, the shoes kept dancing. Enough! I'm very tired. I won't be so stubborn from now on. I promise. Please stop. Shoes, please stop. Stop. And when Karen said she'd give up all her stubbornness, the red shoes jumped off her feet, and Karen, too, fell to the ground. And the red shoes kept on dancing without her. Karen found a stick and managed to limp home in pain. Her legs hurt a lot. She started to cry with happiness when she saw her house. The old woman greeted her at the door. They hugged each other. I know I was very stubborn, girl, but I promise I won't be like that anymore. After Karen gave up her stubbornness, things started to get better. One day, someone knocked on the door. It was the young and handsome Lord.
Well, there you are, Karen. I tried to keep up, but you danced so fast. How did you do that?
Karen was glad to see the handsome and young Lord. That was the day the Lord and Karen's love began, leaving stubbornness behind. Karen lived a happy and peaceful life.